Something unbelievable just happened. The kind of event currency holders have been waiting decades for. Reports are flooding in that the Iraqi dinar and even the Vietnamese Dong have just gone live on the international Forex market. If this is true, it's not just a national story, it's a global financial reset. Welcome back to Iraqi Dinar News Today, your trusted source for breaking updates, central bank announcements, and real-time currency analysis. Today, we're covering what might be the most shocking development in modern financial history. A story that's ignited trading floors from London to New York and left even veteran economists completely speechless. For years, speculation around the Iraqi dinar's reinstatement has dominated forums, private investor circles, and global news whispers. Many called it a dream. Some called it a conspiracy. But according to multiple emerging reports, that what-if scenario might have just become reality. Early this morning in the quiet pre-dawn hours, something extraordinary unfolded. Around 3 a.m. Greenwich Mean Time, a few sharp-eyed traders in London began noticing strange data flashes across their private terminals. At first, they thought it was a glitch, nothing new in high-speed markets. But then the ticker IQD USD appeared for just a few seconds and vanished. Moments later, it was back, this time staying longer. Then came another shocker, VND USD, the Vietnamese Dong, flashing right beside it. The traders froze. Phones lit up across banking floors. Risk officers, analysts, and hedge fund managers all asked the same question. Was this a data test, or had the unthinkable just gone live? By 4:15 a.m., the chaos had started to take shape. Leaked confirmations began circulating through secure financial channels. According to these reports, the Central Bank of Iraq had just reinstated the dinar to international trading platforms. Moments later, the State Bank of Vietnam reportedly followed suit. And just like that, decades of rumor transformed into a financial firestorm. Within minutes, global trading floors erupted. In London, brokers scrambled to verify the rates. In Dubai, traders gathered around terminals glowing with never-before-seen numbers. And in New York, hedge fund analysts went into emergency meetings before the opening bell. According to multiple reports, the Iraqi dinar was showing an initial live rate of 3.91 per US dollar, while the Vietnamese Dong was hovering near 0.47. For a moment, the world's financial system seemed to hold its breath. That silence was quickly replaced by a tidal wave of movement. Forex networks surged with traffic. Central banks issued quiet alerts to prevent volatility. And across social media, the hashtags #IQD Live Rate, VND Reset, and #ForexShock 2025 exploded worldwide. By sunrise, confirmation videos, screenshots, and verified trading receipts began surfacing on X, formerly Twitter. Professional traders from Zurich, Dubai, and Singapore were all saying the same thing. We're seeing it live. Some even posted redacted images of settlement receipts showing IQD and VND conversions at the new rates. For the first time in history, this wasn't about speculation, it was about observation. Meanwhile, on the streets of Baghdad, celebration broke out. Reports describe crowds outside local banks, people holding old dinar notes with tears in their eyes, saying, "We waited 20 years for this day." One man told reporters, "They said our money would rise again, and it has." The Central Bank of Iraq released a short but powerful statement that same morning. Iraq has fully and sovereignly returned to the global markets. This is a new day for our nation's financial independence. For millions of Iraqis, this wasn't just economics, it was redemption. A moment of national pride after decades of conflict and rebuilding. Across Asia, Vietnam was experiencing its own transformation. In Hanoi and Ho Chi Minh City, banks opened early to handle massive, yet calm, crowds. Citizens lined up patiently to exchange old notes. The State Bank of Vietnam confirmed that the Dong had been officially reinstated, not as a random adjustment, but as part of a long-term partnership with global financial institutions. Government officials framed it as a recognition of Vietnam's true economic value, a nod to decades of rapid industrial growth and export dominance. In both nations, the emotional energy was the same, a mix of disbelief, pride, and relief. But while the public celebrated, something much deeper was unfolding behind the scenes. Insider sources now claim this entire event, the simultaneous appearance of the IQD and VND, was not spontaneous at all. It was part of a coordinated, secretive international initiative known as Project Phoenix. According to reports, this project had been quietly in development for years. a contingency plan involving global banks, monetary organizations, and top-level financial software engineers. The moment the dinar and dong went live, these systems automatically activated. Algorithms began stabilizing liquidity, updating indexes, and balancing exchange corridors to prevent runaway volatility. To the outside world, the charts looked miraculously stable. But beneath the surface, it was an orchestrated dance, decades of preparation executed perfectly in real time. One analyst was quoted as saying, "The world has been preparing for this day without even realizing it." Within hours, major financial markets began reacting. The London Stock Exchange saw immediate surges in energy and banking stocks linked to Iraq. In Tokyo, Vietnamese manufacturing companies spiked by nearly 20% overnight. Commodity markets swung wildly as traders recalibrated supply chains and hedge positions. Gold and oil, the world's primary safe havens, began to rise sharply, signaling that something monumental was unfolding. Even the US dollar, the global reserve currency for over 70 years, showed early signs of pressure. Analysts began whispering a new phrase: "The multipolar currency era has begun." In Washington, D.C., emergency consultations reportedly took place between Treasury officials and the IMF. Their message to the public was calm, markets are stable, and transitions are being managed. But internally it was clear, the global financial landscape had changed forever. While central banks scrambled and traders speculated, something powerful was happening online. Ordinary people, the longtime holders of Iraqi Dinar and Vietnamese Dong, were waking up to life-changing news. For years they were dismissed as dreamers or conspiracy theorists. Today they were vindicated. Social media became a flood of emotional posts. Pictures of old notes saved in drawers, family members holding certificates, messages saying things like, "Everyone laughed, but I never gave up." Whether you believe in luck, faith, or persistence, this moment reminded the world that sometimes the smallest acts of patience can lead to the most extraordinary rewards. Then came the ultimate validation. Just as the sun rose across Europe, the International Monetary Fund released an official statement confirming what traders already knew. Both Iraq and Vietnam have successfully completed all structural compliance standards for international reinstatement. It was short, but historic. The IMF called it an event of global significance, marking the reintegration of two emerging economies into the international system. This was not a glitch, not a rumor, not a test. It was official and irreversible. The financial map of the world had just been redrawn. Now let's shift our focus back to Iraq, because even before this Forex shock, something significant was already underway. The Central Bank of Iraq recently announced the release of a brand new 50 dinar banknote. At first glance, it might seem like a minor update, a small bill in a nation that typically uses 25,000 and 50,000 denominations. But experts say this note is far more symbolic. It's being called the bridge, a link between Iraq's old monetary system and the new one being quietly built. Why does that matter? Because in countries preparing for currency reform, the introduction of smaller denominations often signals a coming increase in purchasing power. Think of it this way. If a cup of coffee suddenly costs just a few dinars instead of thousands, you'll need smaller bills to make change. So the release of a 50 dinar note isn't random. It's a sign that Iraq's central bank is preparing the groundwork for a more valuable currency. The governor of the Central Bank of Iraq has made several carefully worded statements recently, and financial analysts are dissecting every word. He's used phrases like value stability and economic transition. These aren't casual expressions. They're technical language used by central bankers to signal major policy milestones. Value stability indicates that Iraq's inflation and exchange rates are now under control, a necessary foundation for revaluation. Economic transition suggests the move from one monetary framework to another, the very process Iraq has been preparing for years. And when the governor said the country was approaching the completion of its monetary reform phase, that statement alone sent analysts worldwide into overdrive. If true, it means the years of audits, digital modernization, and policy restructuring are nearing their conclusion, and Iraq is ready to enter the next stage of financial sovereignty. Another layer to this transformation is Iraq's ongoing digital banking revolution. The nation has been aggressively pushing toward a modern, cashless economy, introducing online banking, mobile payments, credit cards, and even blockchain-inspired transaction systems. This modernization drive isn't separate from monetary reform, it's part of it. A smaller denomination note like the 50 dinar fits perfectly within this dual-track strategy. One part digital, one part practical for daily cash transactions. As Iraq moves toward digital payments, smaller notes help support the transition period, allowing both systems to work together until the economy becomes fully modernized. It's a sign of readiness, a declaration that Iraq's financial structure, both digital and physical, is finally aligned with global standards. If the reports are true, if the dinar and dong are now officially active on global Forex, then the implications are enormous. We're talking about a shift that could redefine global trade balances, alter reserve currency dynamics, and unlock new investment opportunities in regions once dismissed by mainstream finance. But beyond the numbers, this moment represents something deeper, the restoration of economic identity. For Iraq, it's a return to global recognition. For Vietnam, it's validation of decades of growth and resilience. For the everyday holders who believed in this journey, it's a powerful reminder that patience, preparation, and faith can sometimes align with destiny. The financial world is still processing what might be the biggest currency event since the creation of the euro. We'll continue monitoring all official updates from the Central Bank of Iraq, the IMF, and the global Forex markets as this story develops. If this report turns out to be confirmed in full, the world's financial map may never look the same again. Thank you for joining us here on Iraqi Dinar News Today. If you found this information valuable, make sure to subscribe, like, and comment below with your thoughts about today's historic developments. Stay tuned, because as we've just seen, the future of the dinar might already be here. Disclaimer: the information provided on Iraqi Dinar News Today is for educational and informational purposes only. We do not provide financial, investment, or trading advice. All content shared on this channel is based on publicly available data and personal opinions. Viewers are advised to do their own research and consult a licensed financial advisor before making any investment decisions. Iraqi Dinar News Today is not affiliated with any government agency, bank, or financial institution.